episode 4.
Season 2, episode 4. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah. All right. Almost caught up. Almost caught
Almost
up.
caught
We're
up,
like
man.
what mid May right now.
We almost 6 months in, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
year is literally almost halfway done,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things happening
It's a lot of
in the
things.
next few
Weeks.
weeks to even close up the first 6 months of the year,
Yeah.
and everything like that, man. So, um,
Big time.
yeah.
Yeah. I got. In fact, I'm taking a trip. I'm leaving tomorrow till pretty much Tuesday. I'm going to the Upper Peninsula for a little trip, and half of the reason I'm doing that is because a friend of mine had just kind of lined up for him to come out here, but also when he asked, I looked and I'm like, I had basically at least 2/3 of my vacation
Uh-huh.
time that I still haven't used. I've just used up
Yep.
like little days here and
Yep.
there towards the end of the year because we had some things planned. We got like a wedding we're going to later in the fall. We already know about. I got some concerts or whatever we might travel for. We took we took just like a day off around the weekend or something. So I
Yep.
peppered in some days off. But I looked, I'm like, it's almost 6 months in the year. I got weeks of vacation time left. I just don't. I'm so not used to really planning trips like that.
Yep.
I just if I take a trip, it's usually for a weekend or something like that, or maybe once a year for a few days or something. I can count probably on one hand how many times I've taken an extended vacation. So it's weird to
What's an
think about.
extended vacation to you?
I feel like five, like more than 5 days or so, something like that. Maybe I
So
don't
5
know,
to 7 days.
something like that. Then it kind of becomes one. You know what I mean? I think the longest I ever took was like 2.5 weeks. I took a 2.5 week trip. I basically took a trip from here to Washington. We just drove
Oh,
the
wow.
whole way, so it was like 8,000 miles of driving. It was basically a week of just driving altogether in that
That's a,
2.5 weeks. You know what I mean? But yeah, that kind of seems like where you start when you hit that like 5 day mark, especially where you're like, there's you ever do that and then almost get kind of anxious, like you feel like you should be somewhere but you're not. You know what I mean? Maybe that's just a me thing. I don't know. Like,
I had to watch myself, bro, because I'll get lazy.
yeah, that's what I mean too. Yeah,
Because
that's
sometimes when you
another.
come back on vacation, you
Yeah,
need another little vacation just to get back. Because,
right.
and that's the thing, man. When you vacation should be a regular thing. Because necessarily when you don't do it on a regular basis, you do get tired. You go and you be like, damn, I need another week just to rest up to get ready to actually come back to produce and
Yeah,
in your craft and everything. But
yeah.
um, yeah, 5 to 7 days is lit.
That's a good time. That's
I
a
would
good
say
amount of time.
average is usually probably for me like 3.
That's what yeah, me too. Me too. That would
Try to
be
do
a
it 3. Give you a couple of days to do something.
and the
4 is
weekends work
perfect.
in there too. So like that's
Yep.
the thing. If you can take like a Thursday and Friday, have a
All
Saturday,
3 hours.
Sunday, you
Yeah.
got
Yep.
yourself a four
Yep.
day
Yep.
trip without wasting
That's the best way
a
right there, bro.
productive week. You know what I mean? Necessarily. So, which actually this kind of work out. Like, I took a little extra time. Like today, I didn't technically need to take off, but I had some other like little loose ends to
Yep.
get in order and things. And then next week too, I think I took Wednesday off. So really, I took a full. But there's a weekend in there, so
Yes,
it's
sir.
it's like I think 6 days technically. Took
Okay.
off six actual days of work, which I almost went back on it too. Like I almost went and I was like, I don't need. I'm just gonna edit it. I don't need the
Yep.
day off. I'm gonna tell him not to give me the day off. Like fight myself on it. So you know what? I'm just gonna take it. I'm
Yep.
just gonna take it. I'm glad I did. But that's the funny thing is, I just got other work to do. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep.
But I'm just happy to be able to have
Yep.
that time.
No,
You
you
know?
deserve it, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I told you, man. When I was bragging on your consistency for the beginning of this year, like your first 6 months has been
Yeah.
very productive, very consistent, very disciplined.
Big time.
Literally, bro. So
Big time.
you you deserve that vacation and then some. So
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's made the year fast, man. I said last year was the fastest year I've ever had. This one's already seeming like it's
yeah,
twice as fast.
yeah,
Things start going well for us. It should start speeding up.
yeah,
So we talked about on the last episode. We talked about things are going so well. What happens when things go too well for too long? It doesn't look like that chain's gonna be broken anytime
True.
soon, man.
Yep.
The blessings are just piling on
Yep.
still.
Once you build the foundation right, everything else.
Yeah.
That's but see, that's us getting directly out the mud, doing what we were supposed to be doing to getting started, and now continue making growth, bigger things, and fulfilling our full potential in our roles.
Yeah.
And
That's very
that's
true.
that's the beauty of it, bro.
Yeah.
So
I was just talking to my boy Rob that I shouted out a couple times on the podcast, watches us regularly. I'm sure he's
uh,
smiling when he hears this right now, whenever it
this
goes
is like our
live.
third. This might be our third episode mentioning
I think
Rob.
it's fourth at least. I might have got one, slipped one in on one. Yeah.
Our
But
number one, man.
I was just talking to him, and he's actually, that's whose wedding we're planning on going to in the fall. And I was just talking to him. He's working.
Congratulations, Rob.
Yeah, shout out to Rob on the wedding. I'm really looking forward to that. Still wondering when the bachelor party is going to be though. So let me know about that. But he was just telling me that he's been working like two jobs for I don't remember for how long, but for longer than I can believe. And not only has he been working two jobs, he's been working like a night shift, and that about blew me back, bro. Because Rob's a couple years older than me, but we about the same age. He might be, I can't remember, like 2, 3, maybe years older than me. And he's telling me that he's doing like an overnight right now for Amazon, which he says isn't too bad, the actual Amazon job. And he's not really in like a bad position at all. He's just trying to get ahead. Like he's just grinding, which I'm like, damn, that's what's up. But I'm like, as he's telling me this, I'm like, I'm like, he's gonna laugh probably when he hears this, because I was laughing, but I was like, how are you holding up, bro? Like for real, are you good?
Yeah.
Because when he told me he working all night, I'm like, bro, I honestly don't know that I would have it in me. Unless it was one of those situations where I didn't have a choice or something. For sure I could do it, but I'm trying to imagine myself right now staying up all night working, and I'm like, no, I would just rather work during the day and get my sleep at night. You know what I mean? So shout out to Rob for holding it down and and with a good attitude too. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to imagine myself doing that right now. For as hard as I work, I'm like, man, once I get past I feel like once I get past about 7 o'clock in any given day, don't put nothing serious in front of me, because I'm not, you know what I mean? I don't have the sincerity or the intensity that I had, between like 9 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon necessarily. You know what I mean? I just, and maybe it's just like my clock now too, or my routine or whatever. We try to get in kind of a regular routine, and I get up at now 5:36 or whatever, go to the gym most days, and by 10, 11 o'clock at night I'm pretty burned out. But man, I couldn't believe when he told me that. I'm like, I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it right now. I did that in my 20s. Have you ever done like a third shift or something like that? You ever worked like a third shift?
I've done third shift. All been short phases.
Yeah, it's hard to do long.
Even when I graduated college, I worked third shift a little bit at the detention centers I worked.
Oh yeah.
And those third shifts are literally, you send your ass down.
Yeah.
And you're checking the cells every 15 or 20 minutes.
That's hard to do, man. That's hard to be staying up.
Some people preferred it, but that third shift shit,
it's not for me.
That factory shit, bro. I can't tell you how many factories I worked at for a few weeks, especially for college. Coming back home, I worked at a factory over summer break. You get the most money. Don't get me wrong, you working a lot of hours. I'm like, when you go back to school, I'm like, I go off. I can't just go off broke. I gotta have some money set there. I gotta buy groceries. I gotta,
Right.
Back then, back then I guess I had to, and I also, I guess we talking shit on the podcast. I used to have to, re-up.
Yeah.
Back then too, bro. So all of those type of things came into
play,
play,
was much more expensive.
Yeah.
Back around those times, I will say.
Yeah.
Much more expensive.
Man, bro, college was the best 4 years of my life, as in the aspect of me growing into the man I am today. I
Yeah,
don't mean like that if ever, but
for sure, for sure.
that was
Did what it was
that
supposed to
was the
do.
key, bro. That was the icing, like that was the most crucial. I needed to be by myself. I needed to learn who I was. I was just talking to my dad on the phone, and we was talking about that. And I told him, I said, man, when I came to see you by my, cause that's growing up, we used to go see my dad like
Right,
maybe two times a year.
right,
You
right, right,
know,
right.
it kind of lessened up as we got older, like in the teenagers and
Sure.
younger adults. But um, we were talking. I told her, I said, man, I went there by myself intentionally to learn who you were, because I learned things about me. Because he told me shit about his childhood or
Yeah,
how he
yeah,
acted. I'm
yeah.
like, damn, I think that same way.
Right, right, right,
So
right, right.
the grind side, the no bullshitter side that
Yeah.
you know and grew into, bro. Met, bro, is pretty much my pops. Like that's
Interesting.
the
Yeah.
grinder, and obviously we are doing it in two different aspects.
Right,
You know
right,
what I
right.
mean? But that's where it come from. But like more, and I don't know necessarily if you even really see me ever on my true goofy side. I got a big goofy side to me too.
Right, right, right.
That usually comes out of me. But me, my Uncle Rick, my cousin Ryan, my Uncle Marvin, we
I can
watching the
see that.
game, we talking shit to each
Yeah.
other. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes I get super goofy with Mo and Monty. They'll see some
Yeah.
goof, you know.
Yeah.
But Mo, it took her a long time to see me super goofy
Yeah.
until she seen me and my Uncle Rick together. She was like, Brian, I ain't never seen you like that before. You
That's
know?
funny, man. I was
But
looking at those he was killing me in the pictures, bro. He has just like the most, and I mean this with the most respect cuz I love that man.
uh,
Uh Otherwise, if I preface that, it could be taken wrong. He has the most childlike uh like energy in the best way.
uh,
You know what I mean?
uh,
Where like he
uh,
seeing him smile in
uh,
them pictures, I'm like, I just love this guy. He's got just the best energy, man. It'd be hard not to clown around that guy. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. It,
He just brings that out in people just because that's just his energy. You know
yes,
what I
sir.
mean? And when I get around people like that, it's hard not to be the same
Yep.
way. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He just let loose. I bet my Uncle Rick around a couple hours, couple drinks
Yep.
flowing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Might
Oh,
get into
my
some
uncle don't
trouble. You
drink.
know what I mean?
No,
He
no.
don't even need to. He don't need to. Just give me a couple drinks and I he just be getting me fired up anyways.
Oh man.
He's too funny, man. He is too funny.
So my uncle actually, I started working on the trash truck. He had his trash truck. He used to do a 2 weekly day routine. It was Saturday mornings from like 9 to 1 or 2, and then Tuesdays, like Tuesday mornings for a couple hours before he went to work.
Yeah.
He used to work at Rainier and everything like that. But when I was 13, I worked with him until I graduated high school. And then even certain weekends when I used to come back off of college, I used to still work with him.
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
So I used to literally dump trash for 6, 7 years straight.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's crazy because if he still called me and asked me to do his route, I still know that shit.
That's funny.
And it's
Yeah.
crazy because
Yeah.
because once you do something so many times,
Yeah.
like it never leaves your
Yeah.
brain
Yeah.
to a
Yeah.
certain extent. So,
Yeah.
but where me and my Uncle Rick touch, like I think the real reason why God got us soup, like Uncle Rick was pretty much damn near my best friend growing
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
I literally would work with him on Saturday, get off the truck, go to Checkers, get off at night, go kick it with him again. We watching the game somewhere, or just So, my Uncle Rick actually he celebrates 2 birthdays. He was actually born December 18th.
Right.
My uncle
Right.
is 62. I think he'll be 63 this year.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
But he also celebrates June 3rd. That's his. That's how long he's been sober. He's been sober for 28 years.
Oh,
I'm be
wow.
29 Saturday.
Wow,
He's
wow,
gonna
wow.
be 29 years clean. So literally,
Wow.
when I was a baby, literally when I was born, all the bullshit stopped.
That's wild.
So it's crazy. And then for us to be so close, and they used to take us on trips and everything like that when we were kids, man. Like we went to the Niagara Falls. We've been down to the City Circuit Classic, in Indianapolis.
Wow.
My sister, because she was older, I was younger at the time, but my sister, she went to like SeaWorld with them and stuff
Oh
like
wow.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
I didn't necessarily really have a man in the household, but out the household, that was my Uncle Rick.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so shout out to Unc, man. And that actually, like I said, he seen me grinding at the very, very beginning, bro. When Chandler Inspect, this was before we
Yep,
even met.
yep,
You know
yep,
what I mean?
yep, yep.
And he seen me at the table, and man, he like I said, he gave me $1,000 to help me get started. Man, out of nowhere,
Yeah,
he just seen me. He was like, man, I believe in what you're doing,
yeah,
and it was
yeah, yeah,
he seen me talk about it. He seen me go to Manistee. He like, man, this motherfucker is
yep,
serious.
yep, yep, yep,
He seen me at the table,
yep.
and may honestly, I think it may have been a little bit before I even got the hands-on training. I think he seen me taking the test every day in the summer, because in the summers I really ain't work because I used to work for GRPS.
Right, right, right.
So I had my laptop take, doing the online shit
Yep,
every. He seen me doing that.
yep.
He saw, man, he's serious, man. He seen
Right.
the logo, at the time it was way different than the
Yeah,
logo now,
yeah, yeah,
Shout
yeah,
out to
yeah,
Corbin,
yeah, yeah,
for that one.
yeah.
But yeah, man, Uncle Rick is my like best friend, a dad to me, a homeboy. It's kind of all in one with that guy, man. So
Yeah, yeah. That's good to have, man. That was my grandparents kind of did that for me. I didn't really my grandpa was definitely like the most father figure I had, I would say. And he was I wouldn't say we were necessarily best friend status like
yes,
that
sir.
sort of thing, but definitely thankful for grandpa because like my only other male influences
Uh,
around were not the best ones. It's funny what you said about your dad though, because like I didn't really get to know my dad till I would say more so 16 to 18 and
16,
older,
18.
that sort of thing. Yeah, yeah, because he kind of he wasn't really around too much when I was a kid. He was getting into trouble. I see him every now and then, but then he kind of fell off. Then he ended up moving to Nevada. I feel like between when I was like somewhere around like 11 and 12 and 17 something,
Uh-huh.
I don't know, something like that, but he
Yep.
started coming back around. I don't know, I don't really know. I'm sure there was a multitude of things going on, but my brother was having his first kid of two, I think. Summer of around, I feel like when I was maybe 16 years old or
Uh-huh.
something like that. I know that because I had started driving. So I must have been 16, 17. And, even me and my brother didn't really get to know each other until around that time, too.
You
So,
had your L's. That's the shit right there.
yeah. So like stuff kind of, that kind of all started to come back together. And then eventually, for whatever reason, my dad decided to, move back. I think honestly, some of it might have been like statute of limitations and some shit that he'd been in trouble for. You know what I mean?
He didn't
Like
have
it
a
just
choice.
yeah, it starts always just aligned, to where it was like safe enough for him to come back, and and so when he did, like there were some times when I was younger, we had our differences or whatever, and I had some like resentment for from him not being around and all that kind of stuff, whatever. But I kind of got over that because even though he wasn't, there's lots of ways to look at it. It's not, it's one thing I've always thought is like it's not necessarily clear that things would have been better if
Yep.
he was around. You know what I
Yep.
mean? There's a lot of people that's the case for. Same might be the case for
Yep.
you for sure. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It probably might have been better to have
Yep.
Unc as
Yep.
a father figure
Yep.
because it was quality, so you
Yep.
can't really
Yep.
argue with it. It probably only would have went down from
Yep.
there. You know what I'm
Literally,
saying?
man, the
So
things I would have been
for real,
exposed to if not calling them bad people, but
nah,
the lifestyles and the decisions they were
right.
making necessarily wasn't the appropriate lifestyles for children.
That's why they weren't around.
You
You know
know what
what
I
I mean?
mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
uh,
so things worked out good the way they did, but I kind of got to know my dad a little more as I've gotten older. We still don't spend too much time together for no particular reason. I just kind of have my life and he has his or whatever. He stays in like Howard City. No, what the hell is that up there? I don't know, somewhere up
what the
around.
way go?
Farther than that, even like I always forget. Maybe it is technically Howard
Okay,
City, but I don't know. It's Baldwin. I'm sorry,
Baldwin,
Baldwin.
Baldwin.
That's what
Okay,
it is. Yeah, I
okay,
get all that kind of blended
yep,
together sometimes. It's a good hour or so.
yep.
I'd say
I
hour
like
20.
Baldwin.
to get there. He's like in the middle of the Manistee National Forest. Him and his lady just pretty much
Oh
damn
wow.
near off the grid. Like not quite, but damn near off the
I
grid.
remember you told me you said
Yeah.
you can't pretty much get no service
No,
out
I
there.
got lost out there once coming back, bro. I literally followed the sun to get home. You know what I mean? Like I had no idea where I was going, man. I got for real lost out there. It's cool though. They got I don't remember what the situation was. I think they got maybe that house on a foreclosure or some it was dirt cheap. I mean
Uh,
just dirt cheap. And very small too,
uh,
but they just moved out there and just put a ton of work into it, and it's a nice little place out there. So
that's what's up, man.
but it got, as I got to know him more, it was just funny because like we didn't really spend any significant time, or really any time together when I was younger. But like I could just, the more I got to know him, I would hear him say things or see him do things or just like see the way he thinks about certain things and go, holy shit, that's genetic, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Or that, or just dumb luck, you know what
yeah,
I mean? Because like I just see these similarities and go, man, that's weird. You
yeah,
know, it's weird how
yeah,
that shit we could bear. I mean, and there's also like I really don't have a good timeline of it, but there was a few years when I was a kid, like an infant that he was around. So I don't know how much that kind of stuff translates
yes, sir.
into development of a child or whatever. Let's say between 1 and 3 or 4 years old, even, or something like that. They say those are like some of the most important developmental years, the first four
Say those
years,
ages.
like 1 to 4 or zero, we'll say 0 to 4.
Most
You
say
know what I
0 to
mean?
5.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And those are, so who knows, because I know he was around for some of that, but like, it's just so weird. It seems like every time we do get together, it's something I'll hear him just say or do. It's
Well,
like, wow, it's almost eerie, like how similar we are, think, or almost when I hear him say or do things that I wouldn't do or disagree with, it's like not, it's different in that I can see that part of me though. You know what I mean? Where like where there was like a time in my life where I could have been the version of me that said what he just said or
yeah,
did what he just did or did what he did in the past or
yeah,
something like that. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I could see me almost being him
yeah,
if those were the choices that I made, and
yeah,
none of it would surprise me.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's weird to see
For
that.
real, man.
It's really strange, especially with family, because it's just like, uh, like, am I convincing myself of it just because I know it's a possibility,
Yeah,
or is it really that similar? You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't know. It's strange. It's strange. Real strange.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I guess blending in with that conversation, man. I don't. Are you're not a big sports guy, are you?
Not too much these days. No, no.
So the big thing right now is Ja Morant. I don't know if you know
Uh-uh.
anything about that.
Uh-uh.
So this is his second time being caught on Instagram Live flashing a gun,
Oh, I did hear about this. Yeah, 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 yeah.
and there's plenty of other incidents before this that he pretty much got in trouble for. When I say, I'm talking like these two alone, then plus like another 4 or 5.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean, you're talking about a total of 6, 7 incidents within less than a full basketball season. Because sometimes he got
Shit.
put out, and all of that. So
Yeah, yeah.
learning, I mentioned him because obviously he didn't learn from his mistakes the first time.
Or
They,
the second, third, fourth.
or I mean, yeah, pretty much. How
Yeah, yeah.
the importance, or maybe even a personal situation of yours of an experience. Have you ever allowed yourself to learn from your mistakes, or how valuable is that?
Man,
In
yeah.
the importance of growth. I mean, obviously, because if you're not learning from your mistakes, you're really not growing.
That's for sure.
And it's okay to be stagnant at times because that's part of growth.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, but I guess as well, you can't. We know an abundance of people that want different, but don't do shit to change it.
Yep.
I would
Yep.
say probably. I mean, growing up, that was pretty shit. That's my fucking environment. That was a lot of people.
Sometimes it feels like our environment now. I'm
People who
surrounded by people
it's
who
who's
can't
complaining,
commit,
complaining, but not willing to be like, okay,
Right.
I know this is wrong, but I'm gonna do this shit anyway.
Right.
I know this. I
Right.
don't know this, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Right. Right.
So,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You
but yeah,
know, I feel like that's weird, isn't it? Sometimes when people don't. I feel like a big part of that sometimes is like when the consequences just aren't enough. You know what I mean? It makes you wonder like which some I mean sometimes everybody has a different opinion these days on consequences and what constitutes what and everything too, but I would just say like, if you don't feel the consequences of your actions, sometimes it's hard. I don't know. And it also depends. It's like a combination of consequences and your moral compass. If you don't really have a moral compass that is strong enough when you do, you steal a cookie from the cookie jar
uh-huh,
and nobody necessarily knows, you're just gonna keep stealing cookie from the cookie jar,
uh-huh.
like it's not your cookies to have, but nobody necessarily says anything. You don't feel strongly enough to not take it because it tastes good enough that you're willing to get over that. You know what I mean? And if nothing ever happens, or maybe somebody catches you sometime and says, "Hey, you're not supposed to be eating those cookies," and but they kind of laugh it off. You know what I mean? Now you just got some almost that's almost worse because now that, oh, even if I do get caught, they're just probably just gonna laugh it off. You know what I mean? It makes you wonder, like, how does something like this happen 5, 6, 7 times without, sometimes it's on the people though. I don't know. Like the first thing I thought about when you said that was like for me, one thing I always struggle with was my weight. And like I think as a kid and into my teenage years and everything, it's not that I didn't see myself as a big guy or anything like that. And that was, no, I don't this if we had a bigger audience, this would get me canceled as shit to say, but
Uh-huh.
I don't really feel that anybody deep down feels that it's right to be overweight. You know what I mean? There's a strange cultural shift right now where
Like if I
people
could be fit, I would like
no,
if
yeah,
I would
yeah.
prefer to be fit, but I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know. I
I
don't
feel you.
I don't believe that anybody truly
Wants to be
honestly
big.
believes that being big is healthy. It's because first of all, it's not. It just scientifically it's not. If you got extra weight, it might not kill you. Depends on how much extra weight you
Right.
got, but it's not healthy. There's no amount of extra weight that's technically speaking is healthy. There's a strange like I said, cultural shift right now where people talking about that. I don't understand it. I don't even want to be a part of it. But I think that like when I was getting big, like I knew that and I didn't want to look that way. But the problem for me was that I didn't really feel bad physically speaking. You know
Yes,
what I
sir.
mean? Like every meal I ate, I just felt the happiness from eating it. I didn't ever have the consequences physically other than just getting big.
Yes, sir.
Then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger to a point where then, I actually started to feel physical discomfort. I got so big, my legs started to ache a little bit. My knees or my ankles and stuff like that would start to ache, or I start to
Uh,
have back pain.
uh,
And I could have been delusional from that point and said, "Oh, maybe it's something else." But it was pretty clear that it was like, "Oh, I'm 5'10". I weigh close to 300 pounds. This is like think about carrying an extra 100 pounds around.
yeah.
Basically, you're gonna you're gonna fucking ache. You know what I mean? So I'm like, now I'm feeling the actual physical consequences of this behavior, and I
Yes, sir.
changed it.
Yes,
And it's
sir.
hard for me to. It's like, but I can also recognize like how somebody can get to that point and still dilute themselves into not changing the behavior. You know what I mean? Because I had that. I came to that crossroad.
Yes, sir.
I came to that crossroad. Like we all come to that crossroad where you can either go this way or you can go this way. You can continue going the path you're going, or you can hit the turnaround.
Man, this
Start
shit
on
got
the
to
way back,
change.
man.
Yeah.
And I hit the turnaround because I'm like, I don't, it's only going to get worse from here. I'm only going to get more, let's just say physically, I'm just going to get more unattractive. I'm going to get bigger. And health wise, I'm only going to hurt more. You know what I mean? And
Were you
like,
dating Savannah at that time or no?
no, this was in
Uh,
my, I
this,
would say like early 20s. I
okay.
would say early 20s. I
Okay.
kind of like, I was honestly pretty big from, I would say, late elementary school to my early 20s.
So like a
I
10 year
was,
span.
yeah, I was overweight by the time I got out of elementary school and just basically continued to I never went backwards. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
there might have been times where I was just like overweight or whatever, but then it would just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then by the time I got to, I started growing taller or whatever. Um, by the time I got to high school, I just was bigger. And then college, I went to Ferris, bro. I had the all day pass to the Rock. You know what I mean?
What hard did you stay in?
I can't remember. I think it was Travis, maybe, because
So
I
you,
was right across from the Rock. That's the worst part. I can walk outside the door.
you said in Travis and McNerney.
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure. And I was right by.
Travis.
Man,
Yeah.
I woke up and I'm right there. You know what I mean? So, and I had all you can eat. You know what I mean? And so that was it. That was like the peak. I got to probably like almost 300 pounds. I remember at least stepping on a scale at one point being 290. So you may as well call it 300 pounds. You know what I mean? And who knows? But honestly, that wasn't what phased me. It was just it was the physical discomfort that I finally was like, if I just clicked. I'm like, if I continue to do this, I'm going to actually hurt myself, like permanently, possibly, or I'm just going to, you know what I mean? There's just no turning back at a certain point, or I'm going to be, diabetic or something, stab myself with a goddamn needle every day, I can't imagine. That's got to be a terrible way to live. So, but all that to say, like, I don't know sometimes why people continue down that road, because it's easier in the short term, even though they know it's going to be harder in the long term, but with a mistake like that where you just keep getting in stupid trouble, sometimes it feels like the consequences just aren't high enough. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it makes you wonder, someone does something 5-6 times, how
Yeah.
did they even get to the point of doing it 5-6 times? How
Yeah.
do we allow that to happen? How did anybody allow that to happen?
Yeah.
you know And then in a situation, is this guy, is this college ball or NBA?
NBA, the point
This
guard
NBA.
for Memphis Grizzlies.
So then it kind of makes you wonder, almost to some degree, do they almost have a vested interest in allowing something like that to continue because of the clickbait type of shit? You know what I mean? Like, maybe they're like, well, he didn't actually do anything necessarily. It's
Because
not,
legally he didn't do anything
see what I
wrong.
mean?
He's
So-
just representing the company, and who
Yeah.
NBA is in wrong. You know.
Right. Yeah, it's just a weird, and when you're doing stuff like that, like, I mean, you're either playing around, you're trying to be funny, or you're really about it.
Yeah.
In which case, if you're really about it, it's only a matter of time before somebody shoots somebody or some dumb shit happens. You know what I
Yep.
mean? If that's your environment,
Yep.
which is crazy, because how is that your environment when you have that level of success and wealth and potential growth? Like, that just blows me away too. But
He lost like 50 million, they said, this year.
for real, man.
That's a lot of money to lose. 50 million to lose,
Man,
because
you wouldn't, and then
Yeah,
wouldn't you
a
think
lot-
that'd be
yeah.
enough? But maybe if you making, I don't know how much you making, but it's crazy. I guess that's what changes from
well,
person to
when he
person.
lost it, they didn't necessarily take it away from him, but they talking about of endorsements of money that he
Right.
necessarily could
It's
have
not that he's-
if he
yeah.
wouldn't have got suspended and and all of that type of stuff. But
Maybe somebody really needs to just take
Yeah.
his money so they learn something. I don't know, man. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's crazy. It just doesn't take. It definitely has never taken me too long to learn a lesson, as long as it's taught the hard way. You know what I mean? I sometimes it hurts to suffer the consequences, but like, I'd rather just like ripping a Band-Aid off, just like hit me hard and let me just bounce up and never do that shit again.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to learn from those mistakes. I like when that happens sometimes. You know what I mean? Because it just makes it easier to know what to do and what not to do.
For sure.
But it's also just crazy to think about having like so much abundance that you don't even respect it. You know what I mean? Like, you just have that happens a lot when people just come into so much money and what would you say, like fame and all that. You see it all the time. It doesn't matter if it's sports or. Everybody talks shit about Justin Bieber when he was a kid. He's like 18, and I think his whole
Feel
story
like he was
he
younger
made,
than that.
Yeah, he made a YouTube video or something and got signed or whatever, got a whole bunch of money. I'm like, bro, if I was 16, 17, 18, I made a hit YouTube video and got millions of dollars thrown at me, I'd probably do some dumb shit. You know what I mean? I'll probably be
That's
in
a
some
big ass
dumb shit.
responsibility on a
Yeah,
teenager, bro.
I would have probably done something stupid. Almost definitely. At like at that age, unless you got a real solid foundation, look out, man. You get that kind of money and fame that quick. No, sir. I could see
Agree.
myself doing something just dumb.
At this phase now, no, but back then,
No,
most
yeah.
fucking definitely.
Then yeah, now I would just be so grateful just to have it. But 20 years old or something. Oh my God. Who knows how arrogant I would have been, Stu, nobody can tell me nothing.
We've been like Kanye, man.
Yeah.
Oh
Man,
shit,
would have been
man.
arrogant.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to think of a personal experience of mine, man. Shit, mine, bro, is honestly day to day, man.
Hmm.
Just with personal battles, but I guess to I gotta figure out a way to put this. So to learn from your mistakes, I think you also have to come in to do that, and for it to actually be effective, you have to understand and realize that the things that you thought once were right and that may seem normal in the world actually isn't normal.
That's true. Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
Because a lot of the things that we do are based off of our environment, where
Hmm.
you put people, where and what they're dealing with, and all of these different type of things. And necessarily in a lot of environments, those are the norms, but those necessarily aren't the right things. Those aren't
Right,
the things that actually are good and healthy for you.
right.
Those things aren't going to let you prosper. You know what I mean? So in the same way, I feel like that kind of fall hands in hand together. But how many people do we know are willing to change or willing to be like, or because everybody's willing to face the fact, yeah, that shit fucked up,
Right.
but they gonna do it anyway. Like, oh shit.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's just like, damn, where that's like a desire, man. I could never lose a desire of, okay, this is what I want. I gotta go get it. I can never, but obviously times were way different back then, and everything like that.
True.
But I'm curious to even know, man. Like, damn, what can strip a person of just their entire desire to be themselves and to maximize their talents. And obviously, I'm not talking about situations, bro. I'm talking about your regular human being that's just like, fuck it.
Right.
I'm gonna fall in the line.
Right. Yeah.
Like literally, it's like cutting the umbilical cord, bro. What literally snaps that and cuts that off a human being?
Yeah.
Um,
I think people realize a lot of times the sacrifice they need to make, which a lot of that sacrifice is comfort. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times, uh, it's hard because I don't know. Like I feel like I'm surrounded by that a lot of times where even people that are doing well but could be doing better. That's
yes,
the
sir.
worst group actually. Sometimes
Huh?
people that are doing well but could be doing better
Uh-huh.
because you hear them talk about all the time. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to do that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I need to tighten this up. Oh,
Uh-huh.
I need to tighten that up. And like
Yeah.
it's always the easiest looking from the outside in.
Yeah.
You can see, feel like at least you can see what other people. Oh, yeah, you just need to do this. All you need to do is this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You see what the solution is for them, and you think you probably see it too, but it usually means
Yeah.
giving something up.
Yeah.
It means giving up X hours a day doing something that brings
Yeah.
you comfort. Like oh, I just got to have I just only have two drinks at the end of the day. Just only
Yeah.
have two drinks at the end of the day. It's no big like it's no big deal, no big deal. Like but when you start drinking that two drinks, oh, about 6 o'clock. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so you pretty much shut down from
Yeah.
6 to the end of the night. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But you're saying, oh, you want to tighten the business up, or oh, you want
Yeah.
to tighten your house up, or something,
Yeah.
anything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Uh, those are the people that are usually like,
Yeah.
could be doing a little bit better, but would have to give something up, and that's
Yes, sir.
usually what I think it is on most fronts. Though it's like in order to get something, a lot of times you got to give something up.
Always.
You can't just keep
Yeah.
getting. Usually you have to give something up, and usually that something is like something of just pleasure, or just comfort. I heard somebody I was in a group earlier. I heard somebody say, um, do was it was like a word of encouragement in the chat, but he said, do what makes you happy. And I thought, I couldn't help but think, no, not necessarily, because if I did what made me happy, like I'd be like face down in a ditch, you know what I'm saying? Or like we were talking about earlier, fat as shit, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Because what makes me happy, like just based on the simple
yeah,
happy, is just dumb shit,
yeah,
like really not. There's some deeper shit too, but those
yeah.
deeper things are things that come, as life kind of evolves, right? Or as
True
time
that.
goes by,
True.
things that make
True.
you truly happy, like family
Yeah.
time or experiences and things like that. It's not that it doesn't make you happy every day, but the bigger moments that
Yeah.
that you remember and stuff like that. But like if you're just kind of always constantly seeking happiness, that's not necessarily like. And I feel like a lot of people think that way, like,
Yes,
oh,
sir.
just do what makes you happy, do it you like. I think a lot of times
No.
for success you got to do things that make you not necessarily unhappy,
Unhappy,
but
but it's
you're not
not.
thrilled to do
No,
them, you
no,
know what I'm
no. It's like
saying?
I could be doing like shit,
Happy,
but
bro. We be
yeah,
sipping these drinks on, at the lake house
yeah,
every day,
yeah,
flying drones for
yeah.
no reason or something. You know what I mean? Happy. That's not. If that was, I woke up every day and said, "Do what makes you happy today," I'll get nothing done.
I'll be at the crib chilling. I'm relaxing
I'll
because
get
relaxing
nothing
and
done.
chilling makes me happy.
Right.
It makes
I'll
me
get
comfortable.
nothing done. I'll get
Yeah.
nothing done. You know what I mean?
Agreed,
I
man.
think a lot of people think like that. Like, which more power to you. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't, you're telling anybody how to live their life, but just to get somewhere, to get more, to get, what you want.
Yes, sir.
I don't think that's necessarily it. I think that's the goal, to be able to do what makes you
Yes,
happy
sir.
and prosper. You know what I mean? But I think you got to earn that.
I think purpose is bigger than happiness.
Big time, big time, big time. I think purpose is what
That's the
brings that
sacrifice,
happiness.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the sacrifice. Are you willing to live your purpose, or are you gonna put your happiness? Because technically, your happiness, if it outweighs your purpose, you're like, you're not really living up to your full
Right,
potential.
right. That's what makes the world go round, man. Think about how many people live up to their purpose that do shit that I would never do. Police officers, firefighters, doctors, nurses. I don't think most of them do it for the money. You know what I mean? There's money in some of
Yeah,
it, but I don't think most of them do it for the money. They do it because they felt called to do
yeah,
it for some reason. And thank
yeah.
God for that, bro, because I'm damn sure not about to do that.
Nope. Shit,
you know?
EMT, all of it, bro.
It probably doesn't make any of them happy sometimes either. There's probably moments, but I think
It's more so
overwhelmingly
fulfillment.
being
Probably.
a cop is not probably a happy experience, overall. You probably have moments of happiness. Oh, I helped this,
Depending what city you
helping
in. If
this.
you're in a little small town and
Yeah,
don't really too much shit happen, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
But if
It's
you're
probably
in a
just
rough
not.
city, it's like I gotta deal
Yeah,
with some shit on this shift
you're not
every day.
happy necessarily. You're not happy,
No.
and if that was the prerequisite for continuing to do what you're doing, you'd be in some trouble
Yep.
because that's gonna burn out real quick. Being a firefighter probably has its happy moments when you succeed, but
Yep.
it probably also has some terrible
Yep.
moments. And there's a lot of those things, man. Even the more like mundane and like just things you don't even think about. People who work on infrastructure and things like that.
Yep.
Probably not for happiness.
Agreed. Agreed.
God only knows what the
Yep.
reason is.
Agreed.
Man,
So just to clarify, you can never be happy in a toxic environment.
that's
And people who think they're happy in a
yeah.
toxic environment technically aren't happy. They're just at the point to where they're just like, you know what, fuck it, it is what it is.
I
So
would probably agree
I'm
with
just
that.
gonna go with
Yeah.
the flow, and I'm gonna seem happy in reality, knowing that I'm truly may not be.
I guess maybe someone could be.
Because
I'm trying to think if like I
I
feel
couldn't be happy in it. Could you really know what happiness is in a toxic environment? Can you really?
the only person I can think of that I think like could do that would be someone like my grandma, which I hate to even think about because it's the least deserving person of something like that. But like my grandma is like one of those people who I feel like would be truly pretty happy in the worst of circumstances. Not in like a weird delusional way
Uh-huh.
necessarily either, but it's taken her along. It is definitely faith based. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like she's very. I hate to just make it as simple as to say like she's very religious and that's why. I don't necessarily think it's that simple, but like
Yeah.
to some degree that's kind of the case. Like she's gotten to that point through her beliefs and through her faith and everything like that. But like, she's one of the few people I know that could probably make the best of a terrible situation or in some circumstances like that where I could see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that's like rare, very very rare.
Yes, sir.
You know, I think like she could be happy in that environment because she would always find or try to find some sort of purpose in being in that environment.
Yes,
You know
sir.
what I mean? Which most people would not have the emotional maturity or even
That is
knowledge. You
definitely
know what I mean?
emotional maturity
Right, right,
because
right.
when it's hot, I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah,
I'm hot.
yeah. Same.
I would never
Same.
get man.
There's not even a second. I'm.
To the
you,
fuck-
man, you ever want to? The most mad I ever get, the most mad you ever see me is if I wake up hot, bro. If I wake up hot, look out. You don't want to be anywhere around, bro. If I wake up and I'm sweating, the whole day is a wrap. I don't care what time it is. 3 a.m. Next day is shot, bro. I wake up and I'm sweating.
Oh,
I gotta
shit,
find
man.
a way to cool off. No, man, this place is burning down. You know what I mean? I'm not.
Oh, wow,
I'm
man.
the worst about that shit. I'm the worst. Man. Yeah.
Holy shit, man.
That's the thing you got to be careful of too, because when shit gets comfortable, man, it's easy to get soft. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It's easy as shit to get
Yeah.
soft. As we're talking with the air conditioner blowing, shout out to us. It's 2023.
2023.
We've
We
been
finally
here
got
a
air, man.
We brought our own air
We
unit
got our
in
own
here.
air, man.
You know, speaking of comfort, we're feeling good. We're building our own comfort, but that's a that's a thing to be
Oh.
careful of, man.
Agreed.
It's definitely easy as a human to adapt when you need to, but sometimes when things get comfortable, man, you know, nothing's ever completely secure. So shit falls apart sometimes, and it's I strive for that kind of emotional maturity because like just like we were talking about last time, shit is gonna happen eventually. If you go too long with shit happening where you're not prepared for it, like you can it's almost like something you got to flex, you know, like a muscle you got to work,
Yeah.
you know, to some degree somehow. And if everything is good, you know, that's how sometimes I think you know, people who have a lot of wealth and have a lot of comfort and have a lot of just things taken care of for them because of that, like when shit happens, I think people see it as weakness. It's not necessarily weakness if they fall apart. It's just
Yeah.
like they haven't been working that muscle. You know,
Yeah.
people that have been struggling, been working that muscle, living paycheck to paycheck,
Yeah.
or not used to having climate control and shit
Yeah.
like that. You know what I mean? Like I'll be in here. So like the past few summers, honestly, it could be worse. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I at the end of the day, like I'm grateful to have the space and shit, but there's days where I'm just like I'm ready to throw a conniption. You know what I mean? Being here is like 80, 85 degrees and
Fuck
humid or
no,
something. I'm,
man.
I'm sitting here doing this shit.
No.
Like, but you know, it's like, man, there's people that live like that. You know, lots of people live like that. Maybe even a majority. I honestly don't know. You know,
That's definitely 80% of it, bro.
it's a large portion. You know, so at the end of the day, like, but it's easy to get comfortable real fast, man. Especially once you start getting some money together, man.
And I think when you get super comfortable, you don't set boundaries.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you let go of everything. So there's
Yeah.
no more, I'm going to be the person I strive to be. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to do whatever my environment
Right.
either allows me to do or what they're not going to allow me to do.
Right.
I'm just going to do it.
Right.
And it's okay.
Right. It's nice being able to pay for shit sometimes too. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Get used to that real easy.
Yeah.
Just pay them to make your problems go away.
Agreed.
You know, I think that's when I've seen like I've known people in the past a lot of times like business owners and stuff where they kind of fall into that trap though of thinking that they can pay for all their problems. That's a trap I want to be careful of not to get
Yeah.
into, because you can do that in business, you know what I mean, like kind of lose touch with your whole business because
Yeah.
you just think that you can just pay for everything. And if you have your shit together, you can definitely pay for a lot, but I think it's real easy to fall into that trap, and then like your business just kind of loses order because you're not really involved in it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It had that kind of part that was connected to you that needed to stay that way. You try to pay that away. I've seen
Yeah.
people do that, just kind of try to just pay for everything, make it go away. It's like
Yes,
at
sir.
that point you might as well just sell the business. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir.
You're not interested in it
Yeah.
anymore. You're not running it. You might as well just sell it,
Yeah.
because it's only probably going to go downhill from there. I've seen that happen before. I can't really imagine that either. Personally, I don't even know what that would look like, but
Mm.
with certain businesses, yeah, I guess, imagine you had 10 inspectors or something
Yeah.
like that. And probably over time you find one that's like more ambitious than another. You say like, hey, what you think about moving up, being the lead inspector? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You kind of start to create a
Yeah.
little hierarchy or whatever, and the business like that, you could do that, but I think you got to stay more tapped in than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would rather. I wouldn't mind 10. I would rather do like a consistent 5 or 6.
Seems hard. 10. I mean, what's that one?
Yeah.
Some of those, the
10. And
JW or
that's
at least or
it's
whatever, they got 10. You just trying to figure out how they even got any money, man. It just doesn't make any sense. Doesn't add up.
so I would rather have multiple small teams of 5 or 6.
Right. In
And
different
then maybe in
areas
a
or
bigger
something.
I think at Detroit you probably could easily do a 10.
Right. You would think
It's
so.
fucking triple quad. It's 10 times the size of Grand Rapids.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
So
right.
literally you can literally pick Grand Rapids up and drop it off in one part of Detroit.
That's true. That's true.
And you still have a whole nother part of the
That's
city.
true. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in regards to that, bro, I want to share a personal story. So Monica had a multicultural event at her school.
Uh-huh.
Obviously she go to GRPS, Southwest.
Uh-huh.
So me, her, and Mo are all there. 2 security officers I used to work with. One named Gordon, one named Dale Barry. We was all talking. Barry, we started talking more so about business. Remember the trunk or treat last year?
Yep.
So with the trunk and treat last year, he was there as a security officer because it was at GRPS property at City.
Yep.
He said, "Man, I seen that, bro." He said, "Yeah, I remember we was talking afterwards, after everybody left when we cleaned up, and he was telling me about his business and stuff like that." I was like, "Man, you need to sign up for Spring GR." That was my probably last time seeing Dale. That was last year, October.
Right.
At the end of October. So he come up to me, we talking. He said, "Brian, I seen you in that event, bro." He said that inspired me because I used to hear you talk about home inspections and stuff like that
When you were working with him and
I
everything.
said that's all I talked about, bro. I'm like, shit, what y'all talk about?
Getting outta here.
Man, what y'all talk about staying in this motherfucker? No. Fuck no. Like, oh no, you really gonna get trapped in here, man. I'm not getting sucked in. No, I knew after I started working for them the end of January. When I got my first few checks, so before the end of the school year, because the school year ends in May or June,
Right.
I was there for 4 or 5 months after that. I'm like, damn, this shit ain't, I gotta do home inspections.
This ain't it, man.
I'm like, nah, I gotta get my home inspector license this summer, man. This shit ain't it.
Yeah.
So, he told me that, man, and it brought like overwhelming joy to my heart, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, if I can do that, if we can do that, and as a team, bro, I was just like, wow.
Right.
And that's just one person. Hopefully, it's even if it's just that one. But now he's
Did he
actually
do the spring GR?
he's in spring GR.
Oh,
He's like
yeah.
halfway through. I said, bro,
Wow.
please tell me when you graduate
Wow.
so I can make sure I'm there.
Yeah, yeah.
And everything. He's telling me all about the class, his business idea. He is doing. He want to do AR or IR when it comes to like HR work. Oh, AI and HR,
Oh,
like blended together.
wow.
Somewhat. When he was telling, like, damn, bro, that's fucking pretty dope.
Yeah, that's
and then you
interesting.
think about all the HR issues in the world.
Yeah.
Like literally, when I say HR, I mean like customer service is fucking terrible.
Right.
Across the world is terrible.
For sure. AI would do better than probably the outsourcing. Is
because
probably the, you know what I mean? Like you think about the conversations you have with people with outsourced support,
yeah.
and then you could definitely have a better conversation with an AI. Yeah,
Yep.
that's
So that's what
forward thinking.
So that's what he on. I said, bro, that's so fucking brilliant. And guess what? He seemed just as passionate about it when I seemed just as passionate talking to him years ago.
Right.
So I'm just like, bro, I'm like, bro, you're gonna do it. I believe in you, bro.
Yeah.
So that was super dope to hear that, man. And everything. And actually, I mean, the biggest news within a week, well, yeah, next week, literally, man, we will have a baby girl, man. Mo has to get induced on the 24th. Obviously, it's a possibility she can, come before then.
Right.
That's why my phone is in front of me.
Right.
Even though it's on silent, if it, what Mo called, hell, I'm pretty sure I know what it is.
Yeah.
So, I have a baby girl, man. It's crazy. And not a bad crazy, man.
Yeah.
I'm just Mo Amani speaks, and a lot of people speak, with the man. I'm not, and it's not like a bad speak. They just like overwhelmingly joy from more so vocal. I can't wait to see what she look like, how she talk, walk, and all of this. I'm just more so like, man, I'm just gonna be in all of it. I'm even gonna be more so speechless.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's not, like I said, it's not a bad thing, but I'm really gonna be speechless, bro. And sometimes, bro, and this could be me, man. Cause I'm really tapped in with my discernment in regards to taking. Let me make sure I say this right. I'm tapped in into my discernment in regards to my energy and what I really pour out, man. At times I can literally touch Monique's belly, and there's like a pure energy that soaks into me, man. That I can feel it bouncing off of my daughter. And once again, it could be a mind thing, man. But I feel like it's bigger than that, bro. I feel like it's mind, body, and soul. Because it does part with the mind. That's the mind, the thought,
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like that, bro. And when she get, man, it's just going to be unbelievable, bro. Just kind of holding her. And then closing on the house on the 26th and making all that happen, man. It's just
that's a lot fast.
Yeah, it's crazy,
That's
man. But I'm just ready, bro.
I bet, yeah.
I'm just ready. A lot of people ask you, Brian, are you ready? And I'm like, even if I fucking wasn't,
it's happening.
I don't really have a choice.
Not really. No.
And I expect fatherhood to come just as natural as me fucking breathing. You don't think about breathing. We thought about fucking breathing. We wouldn't be able to talk to one another. It just naturally happens.
I feel that.
That's how easy me with Chandler inspections. I don't. Okay, I got to get up at 6:30 to make it here this early. Oh well, let's do it. It easy. I expect it to fall right in line.
Yeah.
With my top priorities, bro, and get the job done as always. So am I ready? It ain't about being ready. It's about being fucking prepared.
It's happening. Yeah.
I'm prepared.
Right. Yeah.
And when you prepare, ready or not, you're gonna be good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of people ready, but they not fucking prepared.
Yeah. That's the truth. Bro.
I'm like, okay, I know you ready. You ready?
Yeah.
But bro, you man, you might want to build shit.
Right.
You might want to get that together first.
Yeah.
So
we a lot alike in that. I do think you and I. That's funny. I don't even necessarily know what to call it, but hearing you say that, I'm like, people have an interesting way a lot of times of like over overthinking and overanalyzing,
Yeah.
and then sometimes I probably got to be guilty of under. I got
Yeah.
to give room for the fact that maybe sometimes like my way isn't always the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that, but just generally how I tend to go about things is not to over plan and over prepare. You
Yes,
know what
sir.
I mean? Because I find it to just be very distracting. It's best to just be prepared, I find, and just kind of try to act, just be prepared to act in the moment. You know what I mean? Like not try to overthink about how I'm going to act in a particular moment that hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it's going to happen, which I
Yeah.
feel is like how a lot of people kind of try to,
They
they
try to
kind of try
plan
to
this shit
plan for
out.
the
I'm like,
unexpected
you
and
can't do
shit. It's
that, bro.
like,
You can
no,
that
no.
interrupts the purpose of the fucking process.
Yeah.
It
Just,
interrupts it.
yeah.
That and it ain't shit but anxiety, bro.
No.
It's like, oh my god, it was like, no, you can't do that. You're really gonna fuck it up.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way, but it's just like, man, you gotta take a deep breath, step back. You okay?
Yeah. Generally, I think men and women differ in that and how they approach things, which I think is a good thing. It's a good thing to have that, especially when raising a kid.
Gotta have the
It's
balance.
good to have
for
that
sure.
balance
Always,
for sure.
man.
One sometimes, it just really depends on the situation, but sometimes it's also, it's different with different things too, and it's different with different people. Uh I think it's always funny to see how like different people travel because different people handle traveling differently depending on how they kind of make their decisions and stuff like that, and just how they prefer this trip to like we're going on this next week. We don't have no plan other than where we're staying, and that makes me happy. Like I don't the thought of thinking, okay, well, we're gonna leave at this time, we got to be here at this point, and blah 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 blah. I'm like, already, I'd rather just stay here and work. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't sound like a vacation to me. To me, the vacation is, what are we gonna do? We're gonna take the time off. We're not gonna work.
Yep.
We're gonna go somewhere. We're gonna stay somewhere. That's all I want to know.
know.
Like I know, you know what I mean. I know we're gonna need to eat, so we'll find somewhere to eat during the day.
Yep.
I know we're gonna have to stop somewhere and do something, so we'll find somewhere to stop and something to do on each day. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have no plan. We know we gotta check into a hotel. That's it. You know what I mean? We're going from here to here. Like we agreed. Like let's just literally wake up and say, where do we want to stop on the way? Where's calling us? You know what I mean? Look at a map. What point is drawing your eye? You know what I mean? Like,
that's the best way though, bro,
that's
man.
where we're gonna go. You know what I mean? And then just be in the moment. You know what I mean? I don't function very well when it's the other way around. I don't really want anything to do with it. I can't. In fact, it makes me just anxious just to even think about that, kind of over prepared and trying to handle the moment before it even happens. You know what I mean? Like, why are we wasting our time with it? It's not going to go the way we think it is. It never does. You know what I mean?
Agreed, bro.
100%. I think we probably handle most of them things kind of the same way, in the moment, just prepared. You know what I mean?
You ain't never got to get ready, bro. You stay ready, bro.
That's it, man. That's it.
Make your next move your best move, bro.
That's
like
it.
I said, it's easier said than done, but
it is. It is.
I want to give a shout out to if any of them watch this, man. 2023 class, graduating class at City High Middle School, man. This class was actually, like I said, last year I was the commencement speaker.
Right.
Honestly, this class also wanted me to be the commencement speaker.
No shit.
The staff never told me, but they pretty much, like, I don't know if it was the staff or the kids. They said, we can't have Mr. Chandler twice in a row. If the kids mentioned my name, I doubt if it was the fucking kids.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
They probably didn't want to see like favoritism. They had to pick somebody else. I get it.
But at the end of the day, it's about the fucking kids graduating.
That's true. If the kids wanted Brian,
but regardless, man, I plan on going, bro. I'm proud of all of them, man. This class, I probably was last year. I was close to that class too.
Yeah.
But I would say they was probably, I don't know, man. They was probably neck and neck. I don't know, but it was a group of guys, man, of this class. Marcos, Ronnie, Yoel, Gio, Anthony. Damn, I'm forgetting his name. I can't think of the other kid's name, man, and it's killing me. But it was a few of the kids, man, and they just really I really connected with those guys, man. And it's killing me. I can't know the other fucking kid. Zeke was one of them. Musa. It's one more I'm missing. I can't think. I can picture his name, but I just can't think of his. I mean, picture his face. I can't think of his name right now. But I'm extremely proud of that entire class, man. And when I do go sub back in the building, it's always love. It's always good to see them and everything like that. So, if they ever go back to paying subs what they used to, you probably won't see me back in the building.
They change it?
No, I'm saying if they ever
If they
do.
did, yeah.
Because
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, once upon a time, in the future, they will probably, or unless other people up, because at other schools, some people only make it like 90 to 130.
Really? Is it higher because of shortage, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some subs literally work every damn day.
Really?
So, like, if you're a sub, you can closely be bringing home 2,000 a week, almost, at least around 18. And if you got more dependents, you are fucking bringing home 2,000. I mean, not a week, every other week.
Sure, that's still not bad.
For fucking substituting.
For a normal
If I could have
job,
graduated, if I could have been graduating, making 2,000 every other week.
Do they do that as 1099? How's that work?
No. You can apply to get benefits. The benefits are shit, so you'd be better off just
Buying your own.
getting your own. But you actually work through EduStaff. So you get your pay stubs and everything like that
So
on
the W-2 income, basically.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
Interesting.
But yeah, some people do that shit every day.
That's interesting. So it's kind of that actually is. I guess I don't know how I think it would be structured, but that's interesting because I mean, technically, they probably work with private and public school system, but that's a public school.
They do.
Right?
So it's in a Kent IS state. I think they might be through or might be part of Kent ISD. Kent ISD is like, that's where Mo works. That's part of like every district. They have
right.
Pretty much in West Michigan. Like Kent ISD is pretty much in all of them. So that's pretty much I think where it comes from. So since that's the case, and since it's like a substitute fucking what do you call like manpower or something like that.
Right.
You know, like something like that. But
That's
just for substitute, so it's plugged directly in.
Yeah.
And since it's not necessarily Kent ISD, it's EduStaff. But their location is actually at Kent ISD. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. And you don't have to have like any sort of do you have to have degree at all? Like you do. You
at least associates,
right?
I believe.
Just associates.
I believe, yeah. At least associates.
Just any associates, because that's kind of interesting. Because I mean that's a pretty good haul, cash wise, for not going through and getting the whole teacher's degree, you know, which is at least a 4-year bachelor's, and then all the stuff that goes along with that. Kind of makes you wonder why bother, you know?
Because you gonna graduate the 4. Shit, I graduated a 4-year degree, was making less than that. Fuck, I could have left 2 years ago and made this. Damn it!
That's exactly right. Like, why go through the whole shit? You don't need the bachelor's. You just sub. You can tag in, tag out, whatever you want. It's like I don't think teachers' benefits when they actually are teachers are really that much better. They're probably shit too, so they're really not making that much more. Plus, you're kind of committed to it. You got to go to that class every day. You sub, you'd be like, "Fuck, I don't want to go back."
You go to and listen. You don't have to grade papers. You literally just fucking take attendance and pass out what the fuck the teacher left for you to do. Man, you don't have to do nothing, bro.
Man, they must be they're probably just taking days off because they're salty.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious, man.
Man, that's something.
Fucking hilarious, bro.
That's interesting, huh?
That probably would have brought on comfort, though. Definitely at the beginning of the age. Well, yeah, graduating. But see, a lot of people, when I graduated, I already had a job. I was working for the Kent County Juvenile Detention Center. I was at orientation 2 weeks before graduation. So while everybody was back for the last 2 weeks, so they ain't really had class, they was, drinking, turning the fuck up every day, like be where you at. I'm like, shit, when I graduate this motherfucker, I need a check. I can't just graduate and be like, okay, I gotta wait for my open house money to come. But I'm like, no, I need a fucking pay. Like,
Yeah.
I got a car, I got little
Right.
bills, I need a fucking check.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I made sure the week of graduation, I got paid. That was my first paycheck from Kent County through orientation. And everything like that. So, but yeah, man, that's all. That's all the beauty, the beautiful part of the grind. But I'm looking forward to these next 6 months with my daughter being here. Continue getting close with Monica. It's man. Life is like you said, man. Life is good. Life is beautiful.
Blessings are piling up.
And simply, bro, because we deserve it, we built on the right
Working for it,
foundation.
man.
That don't mean we perfect,
No.
but that means we work to our best ability and we hold ourselves accountable. And shit, we try, bro.
I like that. I like that
Huh?
story you told about the I forgot his name, the guy that was inspired by you though. That's I feel
Dale Berry.
I feel like that's happens more than we know too, because like he actually said something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like if it's 10 people, one might actually come and tell you that.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? So I feel like just by that's one big reason why I just also kind of lately, especially, have just tried to just be kind of the best version of myself for everybody around me's sake, not just for me, because I don't think it's
bigger than you, bro.
It's all everyone around us. You know, even if you're just kind of chipping away at it, it's like people have interesting behaviors and people have interesting dynamics. That's almost all what we've been talking about this whole episode. But like sometimes it takes chipping away with people too, and I just feel like, you know, people have different groups, people have different influences, and you know, sometimes a lot of times, like I just see in friend groups and stuff, in different groups, people how people bounce things off each other. You know, sometimes they're not even bouncing it off of each other for anything but themselves sometimes, where how, you know, I think we've talked about that in the past too on the podcast, where people kind of, you know, friend groups and stuff, it's not that they necessarily want to drag you down or anything, but they kind of maybe you got a friend group and one of them is going through not a great time or something like that, drinking more often, something like that, and that person might try to get other people in the group to just drink more often with them or something, not because they want them to fail, but just because, you know, they're feeling down and want somebody to basically not feel down with them, but just be with them or something like that. And that's just kind of how and that's just kind of how that kind of thing happens. And like, you know, sometimes when you know that sort of a situation is going on, you know, you can be the guy that's like, yeah, I'll go enable your stupid bad behavior and
don't bring that shit over here.
You know what I mean? You know, you can
keep
be
that energy away.
Yeah, I'll go make a bad decision with you or whatever. Or
I
you
smell
can
that
say,
bullshit a mile away, brother.
Man, yeah, I don't want no part of it. You know, yeah, and that's like, that's why it's just like, you know, sometimes it's when saying no for yourself isn't enough. It's like, say it for those around you. You know, because like, sometimes just taking the high road, making the better decision. Somebody, you never know who's looking at that going, shit, I gotta do that too. You know what I mean? I maybe I've been making the same decisions, so seeing you have the willpower to say no, or you know what I mean, to not get distracted, or to, you know, say what you want and then actually go out and get it, just to actually see that behavior is just enough for the people around to go, shit.
Agreed.
You don't got to tell most people where they're falling short. They already know, you know what I mean? But
they act dumb, but they fucking know.
Yeah,
bro.
they know it. And sometimes you don't even necessarily need to be so direct. You just by doing what you know is the right thing to do, just leading by example, you know, really does change people's behavior around you. Or if, you know, they're kind of people that aren't really trying to change, then they'll distance themselves.
Yes, sir.
Because they don't want to see that, because it reminds them of the things they should be doing. And so, you know, fair enough, they distance themselves. You don't got to do it for them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Win-win, maybe. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think that's a cool story, because I do feel sometimes like that just is probably the case, and we just don't know it. You know what I mean? Just the same thing as like I heard somebody say once about that they were I think one of Eldon's friends was talking to us once about how he was kind of like, for his business or whatever, was posting on Facebook a lot. He didn't really feel like it was worth it because he wasn't really getting engagement or whatever. And when you're looking for engagement, you're looking for numbers because that's what they show you, right? You're looking for clicks and comments and blah 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 blah. Because how else do you know? You know what I mean? So he's looking at that. He said, I was just feeling kind of like wasn't really worth doing or whatever. But then he said that he had a bunch of people offline that was telling him how much they appreciate it, you know. So you just don't necessarily know. Sometimes the stuff you're looking for as a metric of like, what am I doing? Is it worth it? You know what I mean? It's not always going to show itself. Like sometimes you got to just do it for the sake of doing it and trust the process, you know, trust the process. We doing that with working out for like 9 months. Me and Chris been at it. And there's been times where him and his buddy are like, oh man, you got to track your progress and take pictures or you're going to get burned out. And I'm like, honestly, I really get where you're coming from because there's been times where that's probably true. I'm like, at this time, I'm into trusting the process. You know what I mean? I don't need to do all that because even if it takes 2 years, I'm not doing it for the short anymore. You know what I mean? I'm doing it for the long term. I'm over that whole like, oh, I think I'm just going to do this for 9 months and then I'm going to be done with it. That's not it. It's just these are behaviors we just got to have forever. There's no turning around or it's only going backwards. You know what I mean? So it's like just trust the process, man. You know what I mean? I think that's like when you do that, everything around just kind of falls in place. People around you just change their behaviors too because they see it. They're like, what is he doing? What's he doing? Nothing. Just trusting the process. It's just staying consistent. Trust the process. Like, say it's no secret. It's no superpower. It's no secret. It's just consistency, dedication, sacrifice. Sacrifice. Always some sacrifices, but it's gonna be a lot coming up for you in a week.
A lot, man.
Having a kid. A lot of sacrifice.
It's the bro. So I think, bro, I think we can wrap up and say and agree that the four, and this was going back to the graduation speech, and then obviously, you know, with the baby coming, it's the 4 things: the consistency, the faith, the sacrifice, and consistency, faith, sacrifice. What's the 4th? I have 4 in there. Faith, consistency, sacrifice.
Maybe dedication.
I can't remember the damn 4, bro. Patience.
Shit, you're not wrong.
That was my 4. Patience. And patience is probably the fucking hardest one.
It is for me,
bro.
So,
I mean, if we can leave, bro, our viewers with anything, those patience, faith, consistency, sacrifices. Not in that order, but that's
equally important. Yeah.
Bro, that's what the fuck it takes. That's what the fuck it takes.
Can't only have 3 of them either.
No, you can't, man.
You have all 4.
You gotta have 4, man.
And that patience piece is definitely probably the hardest.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
that's the icing on the cake right there.
It is.
That's the fucking icing on the cake, man. But
it is.
Season 2.
Season 2, episode 4. 4. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap, man.
Wrap.